I don't eat salt. I cut salt out of my diet.
Good move.
So I make soup, and I make it with a lot of spice but no salt.
Looks like gumbo.
It's pretty close. It's got potatoes in it and carrots, and it's got steak in it. It's a good soup. And I kind of rotate between my meals. One of them I'll have a salad, and the next meal I'll have soup.
Eddie, I just let in Martin.
Hey, I just made him a co-host, so he's in here. I see
okay,
Jeff
Mark?
is.
I think I forgot how to turn on my lathe.
Uh-oh.
Hello,
I think
Mark.
this is the first time I've been out in my shop in 2.5 weeks.
Wow. I've been camping with the grandkids, so I ain't got nothing turned.
Me neither.
There's Dean.
How are you today?
I'm good. And you?
Doing well.
Great.
We had a lot of folks in before 6 o'clock. I think there were 20 folks only at 6 o'clock, which means we're all now. None of us are in the shop.
Exactly.
It's too daggum hot over here. I'm sorry.
Hey, Dean,
Yes, sir.
that ball end mill was really cutting the other day when you were showing that.
I'll tell you what, man, that thing was throwing strings of end grain at me, just ribbons coming out of there.
No, you can't get strings of end grain.
Oh, I know you can't, but we did.
Pretty good.
I actually really like the ball end mill. I built one myself. That thing works awesome.
Well, I made one, did a video of it, and then thought, well, what the heck, if I'm going to try and figure it out, I'll just go ahead and video turning something with it. And it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I mean, and it's all in your touch. Really, I understand. You know, it's this,
Exactly.
and you have to understand it. That's most of our tools work like this.
They do.
Yeah.
Yep. Just don't think about it.
I was trying to teach my brother-in-law that very thing over the weekend. He's a new turner, and that's one of the hardest things to get in most people's head.
Yeah, I had a long conversation with a man this week about my referring to something as a bias cut, and he said, "Who came up with that?" And I told him what the rules are. There are no rules. We can come up with anything we want, name it anything we want. But I was telling him that Mark Soleil's big project of going in with a fingernail gouge. You go in neutral, which is vertical, and then you engage the cutter, rod the bevel, and make the slice. And if they learn that, and it works for gouges, roughing gouges, carbide tools, negative rake scrapers, the wood doesn't know what you're attacking it with. It just knows how you're attacking it.
So therefore, if the wife's coming at me with a frying pan,
If it's over her head, you're toast.
Can I tell her to turn it on a bias?
Yes. See how
The problem was the bias.
Let us know how that works, Ronnie.
I'll tell her, wait a minute, let me show you what a bias is so I can get it out of my hands.
He won't be dialing in next week. I'll be dialing in.
Alma done spoke, Ronnie.
Ronnie's in trouble.
So I know
How lucky y'all, Mr. John?
somebody talked.
You said something, Mr. John.
Yeah.
I got something that I may want to talk about a little bit later. Tom Clark put out a 3D thing that's on our first homepage about a neural nut for these, the 5/8 inch or whatever. And I've turned a nut with a little bit different idea on it. I thought I would share that if he comes on too today.
Sure, I'll come back to you in a little bit. is this Dave, our webmaster, Dave, is this the same article you have on our website front page right now?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay. So folks, if you want some close-up details that you can always go back to, we have it on the world's greatest wood turning website, and that's Dave Rhodes puts that together for us. And I literally this morning, I had somebody come over, pardon me, to look at something in my yard. I'm selling some tools, and he came to look at it, but there was 6 inches. Yeah, that's 6 inches of water across my yard, all the way across my yard. And we didn't get out there, but I was showing him the website, and he was just, oh, you got that, and you got that, and you got that, and you got that. And I said, doesn't your club have that? And he said, nope, they don't want to share. Hey, guess what? Dave Rhodes is there sharing. Dave is going to tell all your secrets.
Even Doug Rose secrets.
I'm trying.
Like it's a secret. What we're doing is really a secret. I love that from some folks. Oh, pay us, join our webinars or whatever. No, there's no secrets. There might be techniques. There are no secrets, really. I rather enjoy scouting around other clubs' websites. I have seen some beautiful work, great art, but some rather unique technique. You take that any way you want it. Hey, Joe Klein's with us tonight. Hat Stand Joe, that's what they call him. We still getting in folks with hat stands because Brenda contacted me this week. In fact, she contacted me and she fussed at David because she wanted a hat stand card and hers wasn't up on the website. It is now.
It is.
David's scared to death of that frying pan. He's going to act.
Yep.
Mine's not.
You're not up there yet, Carl?
No.
Okay. Folks,
Well,
if we skip you or miss you, you know how hard it is? You contact the webmaster at our website. Tell them, huh? That's all your emails got to say, huh? And we'll put you up there. Oh, I see Brenda's with us already tonight. Hey, Brenda.
Hi.
Good evening.
And Brenda needs to know we now have the Band-Aid Brigade up on the website.
I seen that too. Yep.
Everybody's got to confess now so that I can get the right names up. I don't
That's
want Brenda
right.
to be alone because I know she's not alone.
That's right. You cut yourself, you got to own it.
That's a daily thing.
Who's a daily thing for?
Oh, for me, I'm always kind of, if I'm not bleeding, it's not a good day.
Yeah. I always wonder about
Put
the
him
guys
on
that
the
have
list.
dedicated first aid kit. Dedicated first aid kit for the
Now on
shop.
the list.
I got a tube of super glue and some electrical tape.
Hey, I'm a duct tape and a paper towel guy myself.
Yep, paper towel.
In fact, my wife was shocked yesterday. She said, if I told you to go grab some duct tape and to do a wrap, I said, here's the bad news. I don't think I have any duct tape. And I know I don't have any WD-40, so I'm breaking 2 out of 3 rules there right away.
Oh, no.
I have vice grips, so I'm halfway there.
That's a good tourniquet.
Vice grips?
Yeah.
You got to be one tough son of a gun.
Pinch it off anyway.
Red Green would be ashamed of you, Eddie. Or duct tape? How dare you?
Yeah. Hey, I saw some camouflage duct tape at Hobby Lobby one day, and I picked it up, and she says, "Oh no, you don't. I will call everybody and tell them, because it's right next to the pink." She said, "You buy the camouflage, I'll buy you a roll of the pink."
Red Green was my neighbor for a few years.
Oh, baby.
Hey, we got a great demo lined up later on today. Then Bob Moffett, Mr. Birdhouse, is going to be doing a little birdhouse for us.
Awesome.
That's in about 1 hour. Yeah, Bob's going to do that for you. He's back from John Campbell. He went up to John Campbell to practice. Yeah, like Bob needs to practice.
And Bob enjoyed that trip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a good turner and a good instructor, and he's got a good demeanor about him, which is what I like. So we have that at about 7:30. At 7 o'clock, we have a meeting where everybody is involved and attended to attend. We want to talk about future demonstrations and future meetings. This was something thrown out there last week from Dane, who handles our gallery each week, putting folks into our gallery and calling them, introducing them, etc. Well, came up with a good point. There's so many of us now. We get over 100 folks a week join in to talk about wood turning that we can count on, rely on, attack, whatever you want to say, more turners to do demonstrations. And it's so easy with an iPhone. It's unbelievable. It is. And if you can't do it beforehand and produce it, you can do it live. Go to your shop, set your phone up like Jason does. And we had somebody in last week click their phone up and go to it. I mean, I got a name problem. He's in, and Cade Bolger. He's on his iPhone. He's working on the iPhone, getting the information.
Eddie, I ordered that stuff you told me about in an email you sent me.
Oh, great.
That clicker and the camera stand and that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it, but the fellow that used to work in a wood shop here, he's got a real bad hip and supposed to have hip operation in another month, and then he'll be laid up for another 6 or 8 weeks. So I'm the only one in the wood shop, and I fix chairs and whatever loose things they have to come into the shop, and people want a little of this and a little of that. I'm between a turning gouge and a bandsaw and a jointer and a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Don't get much of anything done, but other than that, why, I'm all right yet.
There's no goal. There's no end goal to accomplish. You just keep busy, correct?
I just keep busy.
Yeah.
I can only go so long and then have to sit down and rest my legs.
As long as they understand, and most people do. I had folks, when I retired 8 years ago, I left behind a whole bunch of young architects who can honestly do nothing. They can draw plans, but physically, honestly, mechanically, wood burning or woodworking, whatever, they were out in the left field. And they're still coming by with, can you adjust the legs on my table are crooked? And I worked on one the other day. I showed that the legs aren't crooked. Where you put it on the floor is crooked.
Yeah. That place is lucky to have you, John.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the things you do, the ornaments and all you make out for them.
Well, I'm working on ornaments now also, so that I get some done for two charitable things. And then another thing, while we're just jibber jabbering here, I got a envelope in the mail the other day, Saturday. I got this envelope in the mail, and it came from a senator, a U.S. senator that's located here in Pennsylvania, and I almost threw the thing away because they're always after a donation. But I give it a second thought and I opened it. And here this senator read the article they put in the newspaper about me making wig stands for this Butler Hospital. And he wrote me a thank you note in his own handwriting for doing such a great donation job for the community. I thought that was pretty good of a senator.
That's awesome.
Frame
That is
that thing
impressive.
up, put it on the wall, dude.
Yeah,
Frame that
he
thing.
cut the article out of the newspaper and laminated it and wrote a note and put in with it. So
That's great.
That was pretty neat of that fella.
Well deserved.
Well, thank you. So
Along those same lines,
Nice to be recognized when you do.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, I had a friend who just contacted me yesterday. He wants to donate. Where I posted I was doing that, and he saw it and says, I want to donate. So He's got my address. It's up to him now.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get back onto them in another week or so, because I got some cutoffs from a place that does remodeling and everything. Like, it's a place like Habitat for Humanity, and I know the people there very well. And I told them I would like to get some cutoffs or something from remodeling jobs and whatever they have to do for these poor people. So he gave me 6 great big huge garbage bag full of cutoffs from 2x6s and 2x4s. So
excellent. That's great.
All I have to do is glue some of it together and I'm all set.
Eddie,
Sir.
Doug Rowe's twin sisters in, Miss Kim.
Yeah, but Kim doesn't look anything like Doug in a bikini.
Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Oh,
I gotta say
I wasn't
that
asked to.
I put up a section of that video that had Doug doing this thing last week. And it's only been up 2 hours. It's already got 68,000 hits.
No saves, just hits.
That's
I
right.
put a thumbs down on it.
What's the latest on SWAT? Anybody heard any? Have they dropped any of the requirements? Is things getting better over there?
I understand they've dropped quite a few of the requirements.
I just couldn't fathom.
I think the dinner table's still going to look a little different.
I couldn't fathom spending 3 days the whole time I'm inside wearing a mask. That's to me. I did a craft fair for 9 hours just one day, and that like the got me. I couldn't fathom doing it for 3 days.
They've got the new rules posted on the website. I looked at it a couple of days ago. About I think it's August 1st. The state is opening up everything. So you might go back and check. And also last night I discovered that they had the schedule up. So.
Yeah, the scary part is they talk about this new Delta variation now. They say can really move around quickly. So
yeah, that's what they said about the last several of them too. They all moving around.
Yeah. Yeah, they were on the news today saying though that the Moderna and the Pfizer are good against that new one. So go get your vaccination.
No kidding.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. I was talking to my medical team the other day, and they pointed out that they're seeing less coughs, colds, and flu besides the virus. They're seeing a lot less of the other communicable diseases because we are finally taking the effort to protect ourselves and others. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter was telling me she read an article, I don't know where she read it, that they think that there's at least a couple of the strains of the flu that probably were wiped out because of everybody being so cautious, wearing a mask, not socializing as much over this last year.
Yeah, and I spent some time in the Middle East. I mean, in a part, whatever. And I see people over there wearing a mask, and I asked people I was with, and they said, "Oh, they don't feel good. They may have a cold. If they have a cold, they'll wear a mask." We have a different philosophy on it. You know, it's just a cough. Yeah. Look, we talked about Billy eating dinner. What's Doug chewing down on tonight?
I got a handful of mixed nuts.
Isn't that what the show is?
That's what I was thinking.
That's it.
I was just trying to be polite about it.
Sorry.
I'll drink to that.
Oh, we're going to lose our GP rating. That's all there is to it. We lost our G rating. So
Looks like Trey just sat down with a plate too.
Yeah. I see Trey over there.
Look like.
Leftovers.
That's the best
Maybe
thing.
I need
I need to turn my video off.
That's what I usually do.
I just ate, so as long as none of you guys break out dessert, I'll be fine.
Hey, Dean, any of those fires around you?
All around me.
You all right though, huh?
Oh yeah, they're probably about 40 miles away and up in the mountains. So just visibility is real bad. The sun's been blocked out the last couple of days because of the smoke and the embers in the air. But we've got some monsoon rain action going on right now, so it's cleaning up the sky a little bit.
Has it cooled down any?
Yeah, it's in the high 80s right now.
That's almost a cold front.
Yeah, I was starting to put a jacket on.
Dry heat, though. Thank God you don't have 80% humidity with that.
Well, but that's the thing. When you got 30% mixed in with this heat, it feels like 80% humidity.
Especially when
But
you're not used to it.
it's only for a couple months, so.
All right. Who's been turning this week? Which have been turning? I haven't seen a lot of photographs at all this week. So I know the heat's kept a lot of folks out of the shops. And yeah, unfortunately, a lot had to go back to work. So I like to see what folks are turning.
Hey, Eddie.
Sir.
You hear that background noise?
Yeah.
That's an A10.
Oh boy.
So I'm sitting in my backyard for tonight's meeting. So there'll be A10s and C17s flying over. So I'll be getting noise from that every now and then.
I love the A10. It's
The
just
boys
an
are coming into
awesome
the
weapon.
field.
The tank killer, right?
If you've never seen an A10, there's no way to respect it.
Right.
See it in person. It's unbelievable. If that's coming at you, you might as well just go ahead and kiss your butt, but it's over.
Yeah.
That's what the Hudgies say over in Sandland. When they hear that whistle, they know they're dead already. They don't even bother running.
Well, the problem is you can't hear the A10 come out until it's gone.
You hear that whistle of that Pratt Whitney.
It's a very loud. It's a very loud engine.
Yeah, I was in Oklahoma doing teaching, and they had a weapons demonstration. So class was at weapons demonstration. Man, they came in, blew the crap out of everything, and they were gone. And what was that? I mean, it's just unbelievable. And then they came out with some of the Schnell helicopters, dropped some of the MLSs down, and decided to take out some more stuff. And then they showed the old copperhead laser shot right into the mountain.
Right.
Amazing.
Good times.
Here comes the train.
That's a sound I like to hear.
Yeah, I got a train about a mile back as well. So
I got one comes through about twice a week. He's about a mile down the valley, and it's just so off at a distance, and it's just, I love it.
Doug, you feel like showing your projects, or you want to wait?
Oh, I can show them. That's fine.
All right, I'll pull you up.
At least somebody turned something this week.
Well, yes and no. A couple of things. One, our monthly challenge, the YouTube cross-channel challenge. This month was bandsaw boxes. Not a lot of turning there. So that's mine. I've got a little bit of work to do still. I have no finish on that yet. There we go. The drawer was falling out. I did turn the little knob. That's all Apple except for the knob, and it's pecan. But it worked out fine.
That's cool.
There we go. There's the drawer. It came out all right. It was the first time, and I knew some things that I didn't adhere to, like sanding on the inside. I did a little too much sanding, so I need to put a little bit of felt on the bottom side of the drawer, and that'll help that. But then I said a while ago I was at my dad's over the weekend, and I was helping my brother-in-law. He's a new turner and just getting going. But while I was there, did a little piece just for demonstration for him. That's a piece of pear. It was bone dry. That knot, that's not really a knot. It's the pith, but it had rotted part way. So that's, it had a hole in it on one side and the other side solid. But I've still got the tenon on it. I want to put it back on the lathe. The inside is not, the walls are not even. They get wider or thicker as they go down. So I'm going to put it back on the lathe, take another pass or two down the walls, and then get a good finish on there. And then I can turn it around, get rid of that tenon, and it'll be ready to go.
I don't know. I get things that, then they start exploding on me.
Well, it's still
green. Is it green?
No, it's dry as a bone.
Oh, that's right. You said that. I'm sorry. I was
Yeah.
fixing to say I'd be worried about it moving on you when you put it back on. It may be out of whack, but it's going to be just dry. You said.
Yeah, it should not move. It was a piece of firewood in my dad's firewood stack, just a little log piece. That was a whole log. It wouldn't have been about 7 or 8 inches long, about 6 inches diameter. So that's what we ended up with. It's the bark edge. You know, the edge is nice. I just got from about an inch in to the bottom. I've got to go back and, like I say, just another pass or two, and I'll be done with that. Then I can get it sanded up and finished, and it'll be fine.
What are you gonna finish it with?
One more pass.
Probably will spray it lacquer, Eddie. It's I've already got a little bit of shellac on it before I realized that my walls needed to be cleaned up a bit more. So I'll probably finish it out with lacquer.
Doug, you gonna thin it on the inside or the outside?
Inside. I could come back and on that bottom kind of curl this bottom edge just a little bit, just turn it under. But I'll do that when I take that tenon off.
The wood will talk to you. It'll tell you what it wants done.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it may tell me, forget you.
Right?
Tell you
It
bye-bye.
might say it wants to be firewood.
It's done that before.
Right? Right on. Thanks, Doug.
Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
let's go to
Thank you.
Jersey
Very
and see
nice.
what Jeff has to say here. Jeff, what you got?
Hey, since you had talked about bandsaw box, I have bought this a while back from an antique dealer. I just thought it was so cool. The grain was really neat. I did not make this, but it was just a neat piece of wood, you know, typical bandsaw. And I think I paid like $20 for it, but I just thought, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And you know, this is pretty, looks like it's pretty old also.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
unique.
cool.
That's
I like
neat.
making them.
It was one of those things, you see something, you got to grab it. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
You have any safety for us, Jeff?
Yeah, we can do that top of the hour, I guess, right?
Cool. That'll work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Okay.
Right before I took vacation, I started a bandsaw box.
All right. Don't keep us in suspense. Come on.
Oh, there you go.
Don't tease us.
So
Yeah.
it's actually just a little piece of cedar that I had laying around. It's like, yeah, I'll give that a try. So I haven't finished it yet. I left
Use
the
your
bark
flat
on the
surface.
outside.
Very good.
Eddie, did you get an email from me today?
Yes, sir, I did. I forwarded it on to Dave Rhodes also.
Okay.
John sent us in on his mounted lathe. Describe it, John, because I'm at a loss.
It's a sit-down lathe stand. And back a number of years ago, I had problems with my knee, which is coming back. And I had this mini lathe. So I made a sit-down lathe stand. And it really worked good. It's pretty cheap to make. It's made out of a couple of 2x6s and a 2x12 for the table on it. And you can rotate the.
Okay, you don't go to Home Depot anymore. You don't realize you're talking gold here.
Yeah, I know.
A couple
Yeah.
$2.
Yeah, this was probably 15 years ago I made this, and then it was in Gizmos and Gadgets on the AAW, a couple of symposiums. It was on last year on the virtual symposium. I can't think of the fellow's name that in charge of that Gizmos and Gadgets. And there's been several people use it that I knew of, and they wrote back to me to get a little bit more information, but has double locking casters on it, and that was the most expensive thing on it, but it really worked good. And I sat at it with like a secretary's chair that has casters on it, and you could roll around, and it really worked good. I got away from it because then I bought a used 1236 one-way sit-down lathe, and that's what I use now when it's at my niece's. But I can't use one here in this shop. I have a stool that I can set on part-time. The shop here where I live now isn't big enough to use those sit-down lathes. They're a little longer than a normal lathe because you can roll around and do the end of something like a small bowl or something if you want to. Which, but they're really convenient when you learn to use them.
And that information will be on our website, courtesy of our webmaster.
And the site does actually have a picture of it up at the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. See, it's that sharing.
Yeah, it has the measurements on. The measurements are on it, but somebody wanted to use it. It's the measurements are highlighted on it pretty well, written in big enough letters that you can read them, and also patterns. The patterns there, you just have to cut the pieces and bolt it together.
All right, good move, man. I like to. If somebody does a project like that, we'd like to see what you do and how you work on it, what you build, and then how it's used. Go ahead.
Yeah.
John has told us all about it. We'd like to see a little more action on it because there are a lot of turners who are getting of the age, whatever that means, to where they have to find an alternative to what we've done for years and years and years. And some of that involves a chair, a bench, a stool, leaning against something, moving the lathe down or up or whatever. So we'd like to see how you kind of surmount these problems that you've come up with, and be real interested to see how you work that out. And that's what we count on. I see that, looking through here just a second ago, Cade's on with us. Kim's in here, Martin's in here, Ron Radliff's in here, Ron Bennett, Trey, all these folks are in. This is pretty much the advisory team. You can be part of that team also. All you have to do is say, I want to be part of the team, and tell us what you'd like to help us with. And Jeff takes care of our safety. Dane brings up our gallery. Cade does little projects for us. And Cade, I got to tell you right off the bat, the most conversations I had this week with turners who watched our program last week was that box that you showed us. Not a turning project. It was a woodworking project. Blew it away. I mean, Ronnie called me the next morning. Did you see that? Kate, you with us tonight? He signed in. Maybe he's moving around.
Hey,
oh, there he is.
Hi, everyone. I was just finishing dinner. So,
baby update. We all right?
Pardon?
The baby update. Are we doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing great. Had an appointment today and everything's projecting to the day. So all good.
Good.
That's great.
Yeah, can't wait.
What we're talking about.
Did you paint those saws, Cade?
No, I didn't paint these saws. They're painted from a friend I know who does the show circuit, and we did a trade a couple years in a row. So she came to my booth, picked something, and I went to her booth and picked something. So yeah, she paints
Beautiful.
all over all kinds of
There's
old.
a piston on the left.
I can show them here. I'll zoom in a bit.
Is that a piston on the left?
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, one
Wow.
is. So
I haven't
there's
seen
a
this way
great
back
blue
like
heron.
that
Those are gorgeous.
for years.
Thanks. See the detail in the owl?
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
And the herring. So, yeah. Haven't seen her for a couple years though because of COVID. We haven't had any shows, but I'm looking forward to the next show when we can make another trade.
A lot of good friends at those shows. Really, a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that, to visit with artists and creators to see just what are they doing. Get ideas. I mean, we can all handle brain food. We really can. And when you go there and see something like those painted solids, you'll say, you know, I got something I could, you know, and you know, it all depends on what limits you place upon yourselves, and to do something. And I really enjoy getting those arts and crafts show. Now, I'm not real cool on the crafts. I'm really good with the arts. If it comes out of a box and gets assembled, I don't believe this. You know, it might be nice, but my opinion is this. I'd rather have somebody go from dry and give me something like the saws. That's from dry, my opinion. All right. Anybody else got gallery this evening? All right now, because we got a few minutes, Dane.
No, nobody at the moment.
Oh, got to let them know. If you got a gallery, Adam, put in the chat that I have something to show for gallery, and Dane will call you right up. And our chat is there, and I got to mention this. Our chat is a free-for-all. And I mean that by, we don't put any restrictions on the chat. If you want to talk about something, a program's coming up, somebody's demonstrating, you have some ideas on, or some answers on the questions that went to SWAT, things like that, put that in the chat. We all see it, and we can save it at the end of the night on our computer and get to it. And that is it's a good place to store stuff. And I see where when we talk about making the tools, like the tool that Dean was showing us a little while ago, using the ball end mill, all those details were in the chat that week. If you want to know where the cutter was, where the bar was, all those details right there. Our members, look it up, throw it in the chat, and share it with you. That's how we grow. And I'm always looking at it. I'll keep it popped up here on the screen just in case somebody says, why don't you ask about such and such? Guess what? You can ask. All you do is push down that space bar and talk to us.
All right. We got a few gallery items coming in now, Eddie.
All right. Long as they don't show the picture of Doug Rowe in a bikini.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring that one up.
All right.
No,
leave it alone.
All right.
Eyes hurt. Eyes still hurt. What you got?
Well, we got Jim Selby. How you doing, Jim?
Doing good. I got one piece. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's a piece of maple. It's a bowl. It's got that was white millie putt. I tinted blue. It's got a walnut lid with an oak finial. And
Very
it's
nice.
Watco lacquer on it.
You put a depression and put the
That goes all the way
epoxy.
through. I cut
all the way through.
I cut a groove. I put the millie putt in there, and then I turned it down on the inside to reveal it on the inside.
Oh, nifty! That was a good move.
Yeah. So the millie putt goes all the way through.
Nice trick.
All right, you can have a lot of fun playing with that millie putt.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
That's good accent. Thank you. All right, Terry, you're up.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was kind of all over the place this week. I had company from everywhere, and I just got a few minutes and I went in the shop, picked up a little piece of wood, and not sure what it was, and just made a little vase out of that one. Came out kind of nice. I don't want it more just going around. Then the last meeting we had at our club, Joaquin brought in some core pieces that he had made, some blanks, getting ready to make a wig stand. And he was giving them away to people to make them. And why I decided that I ought to take another wig stand, I haven't quite figured out, but I grabbed it. I couldn't resist a piece of it. And so I went to work on it, and I think you can see it. I did it back a little bit. It came out pretty nice. It's a piece of Norfolk Island pine. And he had cut the bottoms and the tops and the spindles just as blanks. And I got bored, so I went out and cut it. But the spindle, the length that he had, I thought was kind of long. So I cut a couple 3 inches off of it. And it was laying there on the bench. And I said, well, might need to do something with that. So I made another little bowl.
Very nice.
And
that's cool.
Well, it didn't start out to be this way. I was trying to follow Cade with his little square feet. Well, that didn't work out very good on my first attempt, but I will try again. But I went and made that. Then I made the base too small. So I got a little scrap piece of wood and made it a little bigger so it stands up. And I worked at it actually a little bit with the skew because Cade does so well with it. Cade, how do you do the inside with the skew? That's kind of hard.
The inside, you could use that as a negative rake scraper, but you wouldn't want to go in with it standing up, riding the bevel in anyway.
Well, then I walked out.
Okay, all right, hold on. For novice turners, that was a joke.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that. That was a joke. I walked out in the yard after that and found another piece of Norfolk Island pine. So like I said, I was kind of all over the place with this week's turning. So this is not quite sure what it was.
That's nice.
It's not done yet. It's pretty big. It's about 10 inches tall and 12 inches in diameter.
Wow.
And it's Norfolk Island pine. You can see a few knots, and I didn't have too many. It was a real big piece, and I didn't know what to do with it. Then I got done. It's not done. I'm still letting it dry some, but it looks like it's holding together pretty good. But got done, and it kind of looked like a bean pot. So I thought, well, maybe I ought to make a lid for it. The idea with the lid was to make it with a crown on it, and I was going to cut it with a bandsaw and put a handle on it like an iron pot. But my wife says, no. She said the lid don't go. So maybe in a couple of weeks we'll have something else to see what it turned out to be.
Great. Yeah, we want to see it.
That's nice.
But that's what it is.
Turn that into a
I'm
cauldron.
still working on your piece, Cade. I might need to go back to some YouTubes. I didn't do very good on the bottom. But I tried to make them 4 little legs, and I got off to a bad start, so I changed plans midstream. Well, 3 or 4 times, actually.
All right, well, there you go, Jerry. You're a member of the week stand. You're an official week stand warrior today, Jerry.
Oh, I think I've been in there several times. I've made about 15 of them, I think.
That's okay. We keep doing this until whatever. So, but thank you, sir. Appreciate your input. All right, I gotta
And I
take
want
this
to
out.
thank everybody for the great job you guys do. And I don't get into help too much because when it comes to computers and stuff, anybody that knows me knows I'm hardwired. I bought this thing just so I could do this, and this is about all I know about computers and more than I want to know. But,
That's okay. Hey, it's all working out.
Yeah, they're great.
All right.
But I
Sandy,
appreciate
you're up.
everything you guys do. It's really been great.
Hey, Sandy.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm here. Let me see if I can get back further. Hopefully, this little fella just came off the lathe about 30 minutes ago.
Oh,
But I
very
think the
nice.
wood is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Full
is.
stock. Yeah. Doesn't have a finish yet, but it's all sanded, ready for me to decide what I'm going to put on it.
Beautiful.
I think maybe some wax. I'm not sure.
Beautiful.
But
That's
just a
gorgeous.
beautiful piece of wood, easy to turn. nice and thin. I'm very
What kind
pleased with
is?
it. Yeah,
What's the
pardon?
wood? What kind of wood?
It's a bird's eye maple, and it's a big leaf maple that you find here in Washington or Oregon, either one. And I got it, our club had a wood sale about a month ago, and it was kind of dirty looking and da-da-da, but I thought, well, the price was right, so I bought it anyway, and I thought, well, if it doesn't work, that's okay, I'm not out a lot of money. But it came out beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful work. Gorgeous
Yeah.
wood.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Nice
So-
work, nice shape, nice everything.
yep, I'm like,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Okay.
All right, we're back up. Okay, we're back up showing gallery. If you've got a gallery item, put it in the chat. We go to the chat and get it and show it off. Gary Hoffman says that looked like a thuya, T-H-U-Y-A burl. And Kay jumped in and said it does. How do you pronounce that? Gary, jump in and tell us. Don't be a secret. Okay. Identifying what's that?
It's Thoya. Thoya.
Thoya.
Burl. Yeah.
Thoya burl. Okay.
Pretty.
Just many
One
days
reason-
old hearing about it.
Isn't Firebird from Morocco, and isn't it on CITES? So chances are it's probably not. Am I right in saying
Yeah,
that?
I don't know.
Yeah, Firebird is from Morocco, and I'm sure it's on the CITES list. So it's very difficult to import and export it. So I'd be surprised if it is, but you're dead right. It certainly does look like it. So whatever it is, it would be great to find out what it was, because it's a very good lookalike for Firebird.
Nobody else made the offer. Sandy, if you come across any more of that diseased wood,
Yeah.
with all those imperfections in it.
Yeah, the big leaf maple that we get here in Washington, we're really lucky sometimes. We just hit a really sweet spot and get a lot with the bird's eye in it. And then sometimes it's kind of plain, so then you can embellish if you want. But it's fun to turn. It's a great wood.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if you
Thank
work it, you can make a piece of art out of it. You got to work it. Got to work it. And you did. You were flashing it back and forth, and I didn't see any tears, divots,
Oh, no, it
footballs
came-
digging out.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty uniform all the way through. It's probably a little less than a 1/4 inch.
Or as Cade would say, it's pretty thick.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, I've got a couple items I can show off, Eddie.
All right. Is it a train, a warthog, or what? What do you got?
Well, let me spin my camera around here. So I finished up the rolling pin.
I love that pin. I really do.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Wow.
And then when I posted it, I wound up getting more orders for it. And I had a little scrap piece of wood, little crotch Y. So I turned a little UFO. It's all hollowed out in there, and
That's cool.
it's that thick. So it's about a 1/16 of an inch.
Wet wood, dry wood?
Cool.
It was cut in the spring.
That's nice. I like the way you use those knots in part of the with the
Yeah,
wings
yeah.
on it.
It wanted to be like that, so it got like that. So I've got a couple coats of tongue oil on it right now. A few more, and it'll be nice and shiny.
And that's as far as you're going to go on and finish is the tongue.
Yes, for the little flying saucer. And then for
Okay.
the rolling pin, it's got multiple coats of 3408 on it. And so it's zebra wood. And then the handles are Coca-Cola with a piece of Purple Heart laminated between the two sections. And then it's got a through brass rod.
Folks, you want to see that up close. It'll be in this August newsletter. I got word that it's going to be one of the premier pieces in the newsletter this month. Yeah, we always looking for artwork by our members, attorneys by our members, and it's so difficult to do. All you have to do is send us a photograph of your work, and you can send it to Dave Rhodes at our website, or you can send it to our email address. And look, there's our email, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. That one on the bottom of the screen is our website. That's so easy to find. And we got so much on there. Kim Jim said he watched Kim's YouTube video of segmented rolling pin and recommends it. Okay. Are we going to go to Canada now, Dane?
Yes, sir. Cade, what's happening, buddy?
All right. Hi, everyone. Hope all is well. I got to a couple orders. A couple months ago, I turned these and they had to dry. So I got to them this week and I sanded and finished them. So this is a salad bowl made out of tulip poplar, a branch going through the rim or through the side here. I torched the rim here just to accent some of the spalting and coloring within the grain of the bowl. And then here's the outside profile of the salad bowl. This was an heirloom turning I had to do for a lady. She had a tulip poplar tree in her backyard and she shared it with her neighbor who also wanted a couple bowls. So I did a set of 2 nesting live edge bowls. These are also tulip poplar. They're a little thicker than normal, but she wanted them to be more functional than artistic. So I torched the rim. These were cut down in the summer. So the first thing to detach from the wood is the bark. So there is some spalting on the ends. So I thought, why not torch the rim to sort of accent some of the coloring within the wood? So they're not quite shiny yet, but there's one. And here is, here's the other one. Almost like a skateboard shape. Her son was a skateboarder.
That's nice. I like that.
Looks good.
And then the other night, I was thinking about cubes and turning cubes and different chucks I could make to hold that cube on the lathe. And then I thought, wait a minute, I can just hold it between centers. All I need to do is remove this pin and remove my chuck and have.
Froze up.
You froze up there, Cade. We got you where you have your hands going together, but nothing after that.
His cell died.
Time to sink in.
There he goes. He's back. He's back now.
Back?
You're talking about you took the pin out of your tailpiece and your headstock, and where'd we go?
Yeah, so I took the pin out of my live center. I took the chuck or the drive spur out of my tailstock spindle, and I just put this in between centers, in between the 2 cups.
Yeah.
So I turned this last night. I couldn't really sleep, so I came down to the lathe room, and I turned a tiny little project. I didn't want to do anything too big that late at night, so I cut a tiny piece of ash into a 2 by 2 by 2 cube. And this is the cute little bowl I got out of the cube.
That is pretty.
That is sweet.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Now you have to tell folks it has to be a cube.
Yes.
It can't be 2 by 2 by 2. It has to be a cube. How did I find out about that? I read about it. And not that I would have never cut 5 or 6 in a row and figured out it was not the cube. I wouldn't have done that.
Saw it in the AAW, right, Eddie?
Yeah, that was I saw it. Yeah.
Hey, Kate, those items are beautiful. But let me ask you about that salad bowl.
Sure.
Did you have to stabilize that branch?
I did. It was turned wet and allowed to warp slightly. So I did stabilize that branch. When I was done turning it, what I did was I took some thin CA glue and I went in between where the branch meets the wood in the cambium layer, creates almost like a bark in between the branch and the cambium layer of the tree. So with that, I took the super glue and I dripped it in between that knot on both sides, even before I put it in my reptile room to dry. Okay. And hoped that when it dried, it didn't move excessively. But the key to making it so it doesn't move excessively, it moves more evenly, is consistent wall thickness from the rim to the base, including the bottom and your tenant. And then it will dry relatively evenly with minimal failure. Okay. So that's sort of how I reinforced the branch so it would stay there almost like an insurance premium with some super glue. And then I sanded it and I reapplied a little bit more super glue, sanded the staining away quickly before it dried. And now it's finished, ready to get a couple more coats of oil before it gets waxed and delivered to the customer.
Excellent, thank you.
So
really nice piece.
Thanks, Matt, for that demo. I was inspired to make one last night, and I also made a couple more cubes. So this is ambrosia maple, and these are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'll probably have 2 or 3 of these done by next week. And last but not least, speaking about boxes, I've been working on a box today. It was the other box I turned in my box demo next to the one you saw last week. Thanks for the shout out, Eddie, about the box. So this one I turned and I painted it 24 karat gold impregnated paint with black feet.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
It's gorgeous.
Wow. Beautiful.
There.
Very nice.
Lid.
Okay, did you airbrush that?
No, it was all hand painted.
Hand painted?
Hand painted.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Good job.
Thanks. Thanks.
Well, that's some.
Sorry. Go ahead.
That's some beautiful work. Now you got us working. Had me working on a match box the other day. Now, what to do? All right, it is beautiful work, Kate. Thank you for sharing tonight. Okay, it's coming up to the top of the hour, or it is the top of the hour. And before we get into a special portion of our workshop, our meeting tonight, which is to talk about meetings, we need to go right. Well, let me do this, do this. Do this. We're going to jump over here and we're going to talk. Don't run away. You're up. And we'll talk about Jeffrey.
All right. Hey, sorry I missed. I had my daughter up here for a couple weeks and it was my birthday last week. So had priorities. All right. Safety moment. Let's see. Something has a safety device. Use it. Don't ignore it. Don't be like the big shots on TV. Oh, it's for TV. Use it. Coca-Cola. There was something on Facebook that one of the Woodcraft store owners almost died from it. Very allergic to it. He had some, some smoke from his stuff, and they say it's very similar to poison ivy when you bring it in. So if you're sanding, make sure the dust mask not only does dust, but maybe also chemical for fumes and stuff like that. Think about it. Another one from Facebook. Guys are wonderful on Facebook, showing you all the things they do. made a drilling mistake into his palm last night, he said, and now his pointer finger is still numb. Felt like such an idiot. Slow down, take your time. You know, it's like anything. Know where it's going to end up. Like a screw, if you're cutting something, if you're carving something, you know, carve away and make sure you know where that's going to end if it slips. You know, as everybody says, it's an accident. You don't expect it to happen, but think about what you're doing, everything you do, and be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Jeff's our safety director, and every gives us a little insight on what you should be aware of, be careful of, take care of. When I was a kid growing up, my dad didn't carry a knife. He had 2 sons to carry a knife for him. And that was his opinion. That was just his way he was. If he needed a knife, hey, boy, come here, bring your knife. We learned how to sharpen them, how to take care of them, how to use them. And the main thing he would say is cut away. Go ahead, cut away. But the cut away part was cut away from you. Never carve to you, because on this side's more important than what's ever on that side. We're talking tonight, or we're going to talk tonight, it's an open forum, about meetings and demonstrations. Tonight, we're blessed with Bob Moffett giving us a demonstration on birdhouses. We'll go to Bob in a little while and get that on board. He's just coming back in from John C. Campbell and some classes up there. I'd like to know more about that. You may want to know more about John C. Campbell, and we'll get that from Bob. But we want to talk about what you want for demonstrations, what you can do, and what we can do as a club. And remember, we have the whole world working on this. I mean, Martin Clarkson's from Europe, from Great Britain. Pardon me, Martin. Is David here from Australia tonight?
Donald?
Donald?
Let's see. Yeah, he's on. Hey, Donald.
Hey, Donald. We have Canada involved here. We have a lot of folks involved in this program, but we want to know, where do you want the Dan, you came up this a couple of weeks ago. Where can we go?
Well, I was wondering what the group as a whole, what kind of demonstrations that the masses would like to see. You know, what interest out there for the folks that are tuning in, that are, you know, whether they're new or experienced, i.e. with the experienced turners putting on a demonstration for something, and or what is the interest, within the group of learning something new.
I'm going to go along with you with that train of thought. Do I want to see art, or do I want to see technique? Do I want to be taught how to turn or what to turn? Those all different levels of turning. And turners, this is an open forum. Jump in whenever you want. Press the space bar and get in. Doesn't matter who's on the screen. We're going to hear you and talk to you, because we have to do this. I've been invited to several organizations and went where it was confusing as to what their end goal was. And I'm always upset about this. It pains me as, do we want to teach art? Think about that for a minute. Can you teach art? I really don't believe you can. I think you can teach techniques to get there. Pardon?
Yes.
I like to see a little.
So Casey chimed in and he said he's interested in technique. Is there any specific techniques that you're looking to learn or see, Casey?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We don't have an image.
No, I don't have an image.
Okay, go ahead.
I would just say, just techniques. I agree with you. I think art is more something that you grow into and learn and start to deviate towards. You may not even know where you're going and where you end up, but I think technique is the basis for everything. And sharpening, things like sharpening, cutting angles. I feel like working alone in my shop, I've developed a lot of bad habits without realizing it.
Yeah, and we fall into the YouTube trap.
Yeah.
And it is that. You can see somebody do something and say, wow, look at what But what you don't see is the end result, what he ended up with. And really, why did he do that to get there? So I'm going to go right along with you, Casey. If I can show you how to use a tool properly, make a better slice or a better cut. As we talked about earlier, to go in on a vertical with a fingernail gouge, roll it on into the cut and do a slice. That's Mark Soleil's technique, wood slicing. And we kind of got an agreement here. It's a technique that will work for a majority of these tools. It will. We'll talk about the ball end mill, Casey. It is a drill bit. Primary use is machining. We're going to put it on the bar. We have a technique shown on our website how to do this. And we put it in a bar and we go in and we do slices. But if we go on the bar with it almost vertical and roll it over a little bit, Dean Grimes has got a video on it. He was cutting end grain material and had ribbons coming out of end grain material. So to me, that's impressive. And I want to build one of those with the idea that that can be my go-to hollowing tool for pretty much everything. Ronnie Bonnet made one, and I think he's getting ready to make another.
I think that I agree. Technique is really where we all need to start. And then you can move into the artistic after you have the technique and the how-tos, just like the ball end mill. I've got something that probably about a 5-minute discussion tonight, maybe, on some of what I have done, modifications to make the tool easier for me to use. So, but that's why I'm here, to learn how to better improve my ability to make things.
I agree. And tool building is an important part of what we do. I don't have anything against anybody that sells and makes tools. I mean, my company does that. What I have a problem is when somebody says, you need to go buy Bob's to get this done. I knew a very, very great turner, Doc Lejeune. Doc passed on just recently at 95 years old. When Doc was in his 90s, he was still hollowing on a Shopsmith lathe using a sharpened crowbar for his hollowing tool. Sharpened crowbar.
Try that.
Now, Doc is of the family that built the Ochsner Center that's worldwide here. Nothing could hold him back, but he found a tool iron from a Model T or whatever and sharpened into a hollowing tool. Creative. We can do that. You talk about making those tools, the ball mill end tools and scrapers and everything else. It's all possible. Now, we had a couple of other ones on here. Gary Hoffman says, we never do enough on sharpening. I wouldn't agree with that, Gary. I don't think we do enough on sharpening. I'm looking for somebody that, one of our members really, who can step up to the lathe and show us, and it can be a one-on-one camera shot. Trey has done this. Trey showed us one night how to do a 40-40 grind. And just a couple of weeks ago, somebody else shows how to rework a gouge, a scraper. If you can, I want you to go to the basics and show us how to sharpen all the tools, not all at one time. Remember, we have to capture this, absorb it, and go put it into use. So if we had a guy say, or 2 guys, or 3 guys, or 5 guys say, I want to sharpen a fingernail gouge for you next week and show you how to put this almost imperceivable bevel on it. Wouldn't that be a great demo?
Sure, absolutely.
Same thing with a scraper. How many people sharpen a scraper wrong? They're looking for the wrong thing coming out of a scraper. And we have another one. Brenda wants to know about homemade jigs. There you go. Brenda, how do we make a Band-Aid in the last second?
Paper towel and duct tape.
Paper towel and duct tape. That's right.
Change that around.
Once it starts bleeding, once it stops,
Paying attention.
it's super glue.
Yeah, you know, if it's a little one, super glue. It's a big one, you need duct tape and the paper towel. Doug Smith wants to show dancing at the lathe. Doug, that's a good one. That really is a good one.
You'll have to get First Sergeant to do that one.
I don't know. After we
don't wear a tutu.
Right.
You know, your eyes can only take so much.
I don't think Doug's here to defend himself.
Oh,
So
there is no defending.
We can talk about him all we want.
There's no defending. He put a freaking bikini on. That's all I can say is he put on a bikini.
There's no defense to that, is there, Captain?
Well, he's put on threats too, so
he's earned whatever he gets.
Yeah. He's got a picture. I'm going to jump off course here. He's got a photograph on Facebook of him and his son out fishing. I want you to notice one thing: the glare off the front of his head. Ronnie hadn't said anything about it, but Ronnie saw it. Ronnie, oh yeah, I can see that. Okay, here we go. Homemade jigs came up. Gordon from Alamo Woodturner says, vacuum system for holding on a lathe. What makes up a good system? That's a good one, Gordon. That really is. Anybody, any of the fans of vacuum systems, jump on board. Come on.
Yeah, I don't have one.
A lot of
The nice thing about vacuum systems is you can spend as much or as little as you want. I mean, you can do it really fairly cheap, or you can spend a lot of money on it. Just depends on what you want to do.
That's right. Honestly, with a pair of Venturis and a right plumbing, you can put one together, pull it through almost any tailstock in the market today, as long as it's got a hole in it. But there are some versions of vacuum chucks that will fit on the spindle without having a hole, without passing through the spindle. It'll pass through its own port to pull things onto it. There's a company that makes one that's a pair of Venturis in a little control box. I bought one at the AAW thing 15 years ago. I have several others. I love them. Number one, Gordon recommended we talk about it. One beauty of that is it doesn't, if you do it right, it doesn't mark up the bowl on a flip-flop. I mean, who had that? Doug Moore had that bowl up. He's got to turn around and take the tenon off. How are you going to hold it, Doug?
Talk
Doug
about my natural edge.
Doug Miller. Yes, sir.
When I take the tenon off, I am going to put it on a jam chuck, and then I'm going to use Phil Anderson's method and just whittle the tenon out from under the tailstock.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a good way to go about it. I've got a series of faceplates with different size grooves and for vacuum chucks that use PVC pipe with banding on it. And I put it's a good demo to show. I put the curve on it, put the rubber tubing on it from the hardware store, and I can slip one off, one on it to go from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches. When you get big, it gets expensive because those hubs are expensive. But you can do that with one Venturi rig or one vacuum rig. And the vacuum pump from Harbor Freight is awesome for that. And remember, you're talking ounces when you're talking vacuum, not pounds. All right. Neil Max says he'd love to see about vacuum systems. I'm going to jump up to Dave Rhodes, our webmaster. He says, when to use what finish? Dave, what do you expand on that?
Well, I'm thinking that I hear a lot about using 3408. I was just thinking that one of my big problems with doing anything, I might turn it. It may look reasonable. And then I'll screw it up putting some finish on. And I'm assuming certain things are food safe, other things aren't food safe. And I really don't have a lot of variation on what I use. And I'm thinking, I'd like to have some variations available to me. I don't know when I want to use tongue oil. I don't know when I want to use, you know, whatever.
Yeah, Dane showed that piece tonight that he says he's going to stack on more tongue oil for a finish.
Exactly.
And then on the rolling pin, he used 3408, which folks, that's Parfix 3408, and we have that information on our website. Yeah, you're right. What do you use? Maybe more what can you use rather than what should you use.
Very good. Yeah.
Because some folks just can't be around some products. I know turners that can't be around that much CA to put it on the finish. I know other folks that can't fool with lacquer and tongue oils and some of the other natural oils because of allergic reactions or tender skin. We all should keep that in mind. Whatever we do, if we get a reaction to it, it's doing harm to us. That's the warning sign.
Yep.
So I was talking to somebody that was working on Paduke this week. They did a bowl that was Paduke and something else. And we're chatting on the phone, and he said, well, my cuticles are tender. I guess I got something on them. Paduke. That's what you got. You look at this, there's a bunch of websites that tell you the hazard characteristics of different woods. Look it up, see what you're turning, see what it can do for you. And then you know the warning signs.
Yeah, the wood database is your friend to find out the toxicity and what to look for on various reactions to wood. Everybody's going to react differently.
Yeah, but things like Jeff said earlier about the Coca-Cola, I had no idea that I had to be careful with that. So even that sort of thing would be really helpful to know.
You know, but it's odd. You know, it's the odd thing, like with Coca-Cola, you hear a lot about the toxicity of it. But think about this: it's got the same toxicity as cedar, and we turn around and we cook fish on cedar over the barbecue grill.
You just ruined my evening. I don't mean that. I'm kidding.
No, but you hear it a lot about, some people have reactions to it. Some people have reactions to hemlock, others don't, even though it's a poison, in the poison ivy family.
Right.
I'm not allergic to poison ivy. Would I go turn it? Highly unlikely.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, pick your game, what you want to play.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on with these ideas about demonstrations. And folks, this is not just the BS session. We're doing this so we can initiate some thought on your part. You've got we get a lot of ideas here. I want to see a result. So it's important that we do. Sir.
Yeah, this is Ray Worthley. I'm on the phone, so you can't see me. I have two things. You did something just a few minutes ago, like 3408 finish or something. That's the kind of thing that bothers me because I don't have any idea what that is. Is that a brand name or a
it's a
brand
of it's a brand of super glue.
Oh, okay. So that's but my point is, yeah, my point is that using those acronyms and whatnot confuses me because I can't keep up with you, I guess. That's one of the things I wanted to mention. The other thing is I have a very different problem in that I'm visually impaired. And a lot of these demos, they kind of flip through them real quick instead of showing the tool long enough and close enough that kind of, so my two ideas are to not use acronyms and to spend a little more time consideration for people who don't see very well or very quickly.
All right, on step number 2, we can work on that on demonstrations. On item number 1, whenever we get the technical information on that, and the person that demonstrates it will produce an article for our newsletter, it will be in our newsletter. And that's probably where you're going to find that 3408 stuff. Our webmaster is with us right now, and he shares everything he gets. And I love that part is there's no sacred cows.
A lot of that
Hey,
goes
Eddie.
in chat too.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie.
Sir, ma'am.
I like the fact that we're live and being able to do this live and ask questions as you go through. If there's ever any acronym that you don't understand, anybody, please, just feel free to ask.
Yes. Yeah, that's
You're not
Right in the
Any
middle
kind
of
of verification.
we don't turn off the microphones. We
Right.
do, essentially we do. But what it takes is or to ask the question. We just have to turn off the microphone so I don't listen to Jeopardy playing in the background. But you're right. If there's something that comes up in one of our demonstrations or a presentation, or even if you see it on our website on a video, you can ask a question. Feel free to ask a question. We want you to, because what it means is we missed something. My feelings don't get hurt if you tell me I screwed up. I
right.
don't like it. I don't like it anymore, but my feelings don't get hurt.
Well, one thing about that, Captain, if anybody on the call or in the meeting has a question, the chances of you being the only one that has that question are slim to none.
I agree.
True.
I agree.
And that's one reason that I have not hesitated in the past to ask what I consider a dumb question. Because there's probably somebody else that wants to know that same thing, but maybe too shy or whatever to ask.
Well, that, and we always thought of you as being a wallflower, but it's, we here, I mean, look at the folks we have involved. All these people volunteers, we don't pay anybody anything, and that's on purpose. Because we don't want to marry anybody, we want to date everybody. And that's the thing, if we can cover it, renew it, review it. The Parafix thing, we talked about the 3408. That's why I explained earlier, it's Parafix 3408, and the information's on our website, because folks that are just joining us, we have what, 80, 90 people in here tonight. They may not know about the joking and the kidding and the Band-Aid Brigade and the Wig Stand Warriors and all this stuff. It is just a gang of people sitting on the tailgate of the truck out in the parking lot, and we're talking wood turning. And if you got something to ask or something to say, hey, that's all it takes.
Just chime in.
That's why we built this.
Yep.
Exactly where this program came from.
And that's why we're
And we're
just having this discussion now, is to find out where everybody, for the masses out there, where you lie at on what you're wanting to see, learn what we're missing, what we can do better at.
Yeah, I mean, here's one here I'd like to see more on casting. James, that's awesome. That's awesome. We've got, I'm going to be, get in here and say something wrong. I know we have two great casters on our team, two great ones, Paul Barn and Kim Tippin. And there may be others, but between those two, we got it covered.
Yep. Billy Burt too.
Billy Burt, I forgot about Billy, man. Yeah, and these folks do serious work with casting. I agree. Thank you, James. We'll do more on that. Don Roselle says a large topic is finishing, small pieces, how to hold them, finishing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking for all of our turning demonstrators to give us more on finishes. I'll put this 20 years ago, doing a demonstration at a club, a guy said, you know what, I want to skip the sanding and go on to this piece. And a guy sitting right next to me, I didn't stir the pot, guy sitting right next to me said, why? Sanding's not important? And he was absolutely correct. Sanding or whatever, he was absolutely correct. Sanding, as dumb as it seems, can be the lifesaver. You can go from trash to treasure, sanding. And if you don't understand that, you're not doing good woodwork. Or if you're thinking, I can start sanding at 400 or something. Not a lot of people can do that. And if they can, they're not sharing with us. Jim Selby says he's on medication right now because his eye was swelled up because of turning a lacewood pen. Lacewood. How to cut with a chainsaw. And Dan said, how you do a web search for Parfix 3408. I think we have it under products. Go, Ronnie.
You're not going to find it as a web search. It's not. Parfix 3408 is not sold retail. Mark Soleil, one of our members, is the go-to guy to purchase 3408 and all of the various Parfix brands.
Dave, is Mark's contact information on our website?
No, it actually isn't, because I'm afraid to put anybody's phone number up, and Mark likes to be contacted by phone. If Mark gives me permission, I'll put his phone number on the website.
All right.
It's on
Yeah,
Etsy. It's on Etsy. I just looked it up.
You just looked it up, Jim?
Yeah, I looked it up on the web, on Google, and it comes up Parfix 3408 Amazing Sealer and Finish, 2 8-ounce size on Etsy.
Okay.
Oh, right,
so
he
that-
does have an Etsy shop. That's true.
all right. Yes, sir.
I'm sitting back listening to the questions that are being asked and what's coming up. I think we all know we have covered all of these subjects, but I think what's coming up now is people might have missed those shows or those meetings as we covered that. What I think what might be a good idea is go back to basics every so often and recover those same subjects or whatever for either new people or people that didn't catch that portion of our meeting. The gentleman with the Parfix is Parfix 3408, and if you go to our website, our webmaster has a special section there that gives you all the information, and it leads you right to Mark Soleil's video of how to use it, when to use it, and any questions there. As far as people reaching out, that's all they have to do is come forth and tell us an idea what you want to hear about. There was a gentleman last week that wanted to know more about stave turning. I gave him my name, I gave him my number. He called me the next day, and I put him on to a friend of mine, and I think he was well satisfied. So anybody that needs help on any subject, that's all you have to do is come forth and tell us what you want to know about. And there are an exceptional number of very good turners in this group. So I'm sure anybody in this group could solve your question. If for some reason we don't know, or we run into a brick wall, that's what we're here for. We're gonna stop and find out for you, and we'll give you the answer. So just come forth, and like they say, and y'all have said it tonight, there is no dumb question, so just let us know what you want to know.
Somebody's got a TV
Let me
on.
point out that we just got something from Kurt Capps, that Capps Creation also has the Parfix CA glue, and we ought to give him equal comment along with Mark Soleil, which is on the very next line of the chat.
That's the beauty. It's if you have something to share, where do you put it? Right there on the chat.
And I'll make sure that
if you go
Kurt
back
Capps is
into our
also
meeting-
referenced on our website. I'm pretty sure he already is, but I'll make sure that's there.
If you go back into our meetings, Eddie and I got together and he came over and we videoed the spotlight on that Parfix 3408, showing you how to use it. So it's a very simple product to use. It's a very good product to use.
I'm working on a program, a video right now about using regular thin CA. What I say regular is not the Parfix medical grade CA, but using Tight Bond or any of the other brands, how to do a finish on CA for an alternative finish. And that's not all. We're not done. We're not done. Opinions like elbows. Everybody's got at least two of them, and you know we want to know what they are and how you can work for them.
That's all we need is for people to come forth and ask us a question, and we'll either tell you the answer now, or we'll get you the answer for it.
Yeah,
I have a comment to make about that. If we knew where someone was from that had a specific question, you might find a mentor out there in your area that could help you. You will learn a lot from a mentor. It could come to your shop or you go to his shop, and you will be able to discuss how to use a gouge or something similar to that, more so than you will find out here on a meeting, watching it on a video or something. So a mentor is a big help to you if they know where you live.
Great point, John. And really, you can't put your hands on a video.
You're right.
You want me to show you how to use this tool. When I used to do lessons at my shop, I would always tell folks, if you come over here, I can show you how to use those tools, but I can't teach you art. Art's got to be right here. And that's a good point. If you find a mentor or a friend that you can talk to, in this world of FaceTime, you can do a lot with FaceTime with somebody one-on-one.
Yeah, and it takes practice. Once you learn it and someone shows you, you've got to practice it. That's how some of us have gotten to where we are now. It took a lot of practice and a lot of scrap wood. And I'll say scrap wood because it's scrap wood when you're finished with it.
Firewood.
Yes. I guess it is scrap wood. It's good for the fire.
Scrap wood still has a use. Firewood, no.
Yeah, if you call it scrap wood, John, I'm gonna sick Kim tipping on you.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
She doesn't permit that scrap wood.
Long enough, if you keep on turning, you'll eventually get a toothpick, and then you got something useful.
There you go. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a good idea.
And if you don't realize it, everything we turn, we can give away. Somebody will want everything we turn. None of it goes to none of it has to go to the burn pile. At least not mine. All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate the input on that. That is a really great idea. The mentors getting together. That's where clubs come in. If the clubs create these programs, Ronnie, you and I went to the Fab 5 up in well, it used to be the Fab 6 up in Napoleonville or down Napoleonville.
Yeah.
That is a mentorship program.
What Eddie's talking about, they have a group of 5 guys and they get together once a week on a Thursday, and they have a great thing going, and they get there about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they don't leave till probably 5 o'clock that evening. And what they do is they design, and then they cut out the pieces, and then everyone goes home with the cut out pieces, and then you assemble a piece and then finish it on your own. So it's a great thing. It's really a great camaraderie between those guys, and they are exceptional turners. They are very, very talented. When it comes to segmented or stave work, I don't think there's anybody close to them.
That phone number you gave me, Ronnie, I called him the next day and he sent me 3 of his pictures. That's awesome.
Ain't it? You know, that's what it is. And You know, that's why I put you on him, because they are the people, you know, and they know what they talking about. The man who heads up that group, he's got about 60 years in wood turning, and he used to teach wood turning at a high school. So the man knows what he's talking about. He's done it, and you know he'll explain it to you.
Yeah, Mike was with us. Mike got a team run. He was with us earlier. I don't see him in the pack right now, but we've been there a couple of times. We enjoyed ourselves, and every time driving back from, it's about an hour and a half away from the house, driving back, making notes one after the other, because we absorbed so much in that trip. And that's what a mentor program or a mini club meeting program does. Remember, it's not a hierarchy. It's not you don't have to have a great turner. All you need are turners. We all have opinions. We have ideas. Something I think is really great idea, you might tell me is dumb as rocks. So that's why we're talking about this. What do you want to see? Doug Smith's bailing out. He's got something to go do. But he's got a couple other things. We have some recommendations on a par fix and items. Remember, if you don't know this, folks, we are non-commercial. We don't have a website. We have a website. We don't have a purchase site. You can't buy anything from us. You don't pay us for anything. We don't pay our demonstrators. No money changes hands in this operation to keep it going. But if we don't have your thought power, if we don't have this from you, we're short. So that's why we have people like John Brown and Jim and Dane and Donald and Tom and all these other guys jumping in, because we're all sharing ideas. We're supposed to have a demonstration by Bob Moffett this evening, and I don't see Bob in the mix tonight unless he's coming up under an alias. Bob, are you out there right now?
I'm right here.
Yeah.
How you doing tonight?
He's Birdhouse Bob now.
Oh, that's right.
There he is.
Put my official nickname in there.
How you doing, Bob?
How y'all doing tonight?
All righty, sir. Sorry we didn't get to you. I've been looking for you for 15 minutes.
We're going to make a couple birdhouses tonight, and I want to show you a couple that I've made. And we'll start off making one similar to this.
Oh, that's cool.
Can you see that in the camera?
See, I had a preview for you for tonight, and we pop over to.
When I
sell these. Oh, okay. Preview what?
Well, I was going to say, we had this little thing to show you here, and then we had another one that Bob did. Bob does nice little birdhouses. Go ahead, Bob. I'm backing out. Is Bob still there? I'm out.
Yeah, he's there. I'm bringing him up.
All right.
All right, Bob. All you, buddy.
This is another style we'll make if we get to it. One of the things I do on these is I make the bases all the same. Now, this one came with a bird. My wife put that on there. But I make the bases all the same. I make the holes for them to go in all the same, the perches all the same, and the finials, the hole for the finials the same. If I put a finial on, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. And then another one I made, I was at John Campbell and they had a green bowl class the week before us. And I saw this bark laying there from just old scraps of wood. And so I made a top out of the bark. And that
nice.
Seemed like that.
That is cute. It is nice.
One of the things too is when somebody gets one, I tell them they get these hooks to go with it. And they just think that's wonderful. When you get these for about 100 for about a couple dollars off Amazon. But they think that's great. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off making the base. And the base, we'll make one base. And as we have time, we'll see how many tops we can make. But we'll make the base first. We'll put a 1-inch tenon here. And instead of using first I'm going to curve this in on the base. But instead of using calipers, I'm gonna drill a 1-inch hole in the top. So why don't I just use the 1-inch drill bit as my caliper? And that's just a quick measuring way. And I'll use a Badan. I could use a Badan, or I could use a parting tool to make my tenon. Either one would be fine. But I'm just going in, since this is 1 inch and I want a 1-inch tenon. I'm just going in until my tool hits that, and I've got it. So now what we'll do is we'll shape the body of the birdhouse.
That's a great idea.
It's almost cheating, huh, Ray?
Worth the price of admission.
Oh, almost cheating. Almost cheating.
And I forgot to take my spindle
I like the
gouge
way
out,
you use
so
that
I'll do
bidet.
that. And this is just a plain old 3/8 inch spindle gouge. I don't use any real specialized tools doing these.
Only the
Now
one
what
on your
I'll do-
head.
And what I'll do here is I'm going to put a curve in the top. By putting a curve in the top, it sort of makes this look like it drops down below the roof. If you can, I don't know if you can see that curve or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, it makes it look like the body drops down below the roof. So I'm just using my spindle gouge. And just make it a little curve. And if you'll notice, when I use my tool, I bring my handle around. That gives me a curve. If I just went straight in here like that, I'd just have a straight line. Now you can make any shape you want to make it. So I'm just going to come in and drop it in like this. And I'm going to curve in. Now, if you'll notice on these I had, every one of them is a different shape on the bottom, but the tenon is always the same. So I'm just coming in, I'm bringing my tool handle around, and I'm coming back out and bringing it around again, other way. Now, so that's going to be the shape, outside shape of my base. You'll notice this is one shape. This is another shape, and you can sort of see that curve better on that one, but it's a different shape.
Yep.
And this is still a different shape. So
Your audio just got lower.
Usually changing cameras, the audio is following the camera.
I'm just going to come around like this. All right, now I want to look at it, and I'm going to put a finishing cut, just make a real light cut. And I have these in a gallery, and they sell pretty well, so sell better than my bows do.
What kind of wood are you using there tonight?
This is a piece of maple.
Oh, good. That
Okay,
finish
so
is
I'm
real
gonna look
nice.
at this, and I say, okay, where was a neat place to put the perch? My grain lines are going straight down like this. That wouldn't look like much. All right, here I've got my grain lines going in a U shape, and here I've got them going in a bigger U shape. Now I would sand this, but I don't think y'all want to watch me sand. So I'm going to put my hole for my bird to get in somewhere right in here. about the center. Now I use a drill a 1/4 inch hole there because it's just for small birds. And I use a brad point drill bit, and I don't take it off the lathe or special jig. I just, with a brad point drill bit, I've got that little point on it. And so I can just sort of push it in and it's not going to run on me. The regular drill bit's going to run on me. Did this demo in Brasstown, and I couldn't find my 1/4 inch drill bit, and I was looking all over for it. And they said, "Well, look in your drill," and there it was. It's like magic.
Right
And
where
now
you
I'm going to
left.
switch to a 1/8 inch hole or 1/8 inch. This is going to be for my perch, and I could either put it below it or I could put it to the side of it. Can't put it above it because then bird will have to be upside down. I'm just gonna put it below it. Okay, so we've got our hole for our entrance right here, and then we've got our hole for our perch. Now, if I wanted to put a finial in this, I would just drill a hole through the bottom 1/4 inch and make a 1/4 inch tenon on my finial. But I'm not going to put a finial on this one. So, okay, now for hollowing it, I have a very special tool that I use for most of the hollowing. Called a 3/4 inch Sparsen bit. And since I've got a 1/8 inch tenon, and I'm using a 3/4 inch bit, I'll have a 1/8 inch. I mean, since I got a 1 inch tenon and a 3/4 inch hole, I'll have a 1/8 inch wall there. And let's see how deep we want to do it. We'll do a little deep measuring here. Okay, so I want to go about that deep. I'm going about 500 or 600 RPMs. Okay. Always goes wrong. And I got a key here. There we go. I was talking to a friend of mine, used to live at Kitty Hawk, and we were talking about the birdhouses and stuff, and I told him about these birdhouses, and he said, well, they're too small for a seagull. And I said, okay. I said, well, and I asked him, I said, well, why does the seagull always fly over the ocean? And he said, well, it's simple. Says, if it flew over the bay, it'd be a bagel. After my joke. I thought that was pretty good.
Stand by, Doug Rowe. You got competition.
What did he say? Okay, I didn't bring the hollowing tool.
I saw Jim Selby wiping his eyes. I don't know if he's crying with you or for you.
Now I'll take my hollowing tool and just hollow this out. No, I don't think I brought it. No. But anyway, that's what I do. We can use a spindle gouge to do some of the hollowing. This is not the kind of hollowing that you do for a $300 hollow form. This is just to get weight out. And one of the neat things about this hollowing, since we drilled that hole, I can just look in here and see how far I've hollowed it. And I don't have to wait for that line to show up that I hollowed it all the way through. If y'all didn't like my seagull joke, I got some worse ones.
No, we liked it. We really did. We had everybody muted. That's why you didn't hear it, Mom.
Okay, so we've hollowed all we're going to hollow. And it's, I'll claim it's about 1/8 of an inch thick.
Do the finger tap.
That's, yeah, it is. I don't think you want to watch me hollow anymore than you want to watch me sand. Or listen to any more of my jokes.
No, they're good. Keep them coming.
I'm going to take a little wood off here just to get it out of the way. And one of the benefits of doing these and making uniform size holes and stuff is that I could sit here and do these. And if I want to do these and just do tops later on, you know, I could do that and then just put them together later. All right, so that's our bottom. And we're going to use our skew and cut the bottom off. Now, if I was going to put a finial on this, it'd be good to have a little bit of a flat there at the bottom to match the finial up, and that way I wouldn't have to recess it into the base of the finial. And I'd also drill a 1/4 inch hole through the bottom to hold it. Well, it always helps to get a catch while you're doing it too.
Oh, I thought you were showing us the hazards.
Okay, so that's going to be our bottom. Huh? That's our bottom there.
Nice.
Got a hole in it. It's got a nice catch on it. Got to turn a spiral on it. Not everybody can turn those spirals now.
Bob, who's your partner in crime tonight?
What do you think? Who's your partner? Land Brady.
All right.
Land the Magnificent. Take a bow, Land. He's my video production manager.
Oh,
Doing a
wow.
fine job.
He told me all the jokes to tell y'all too.
If that's the case, I'm going to stick with my camera chick.
He's been working on these jokes for 3 weeks. Okay, so I'm putting a step center in here and putting my live center in, and this is going to be my top. I've already marked the centers on it. Am I holding that in the right place? Okay. And I'm just going to use my tailstock. You'll sort of push it in to get a little hole there. I already got a hole on that end. Now my top has to be bigger than the bottom, because there won't be much of a roof if it's not. So the first thing we'll do, this isn't too square, so we'll square the end off. I'm going to put a tenon on this end. sort of square this end off. Now I don't have, this isn't perfectly round, but I don't really have to worry about that except for one place.
What is your blank size?
Oh, it's 3 inches. And this is, that reminds me of something to show you here. This is almost 2 inches. Take your magnet, take your tape magnet, epoxy your magnet on the back of it, and you can stick it on your lathe and you can always find it. And I've got one of those on each of my power tools in my shop. And okay, so we're gonna make this round right here. Okay, so that's gonna be, that's not quite round yet. Also, a thing that I like to do is I just leave my own switch on, but I turn the volume, turn the speed up and down with the speed control.
That's what I do as well, Bob.
To me, it's just a little safer, and you don't end up, having turned a spindle and then turn a bowl later on and it's running wide open.
Right.
It flies out at you.
Ronnie Barnett taught me that trick.
Huh?
Ronnie Barnett taught me that trick.
Oh, okay. And you listened
did he
to
demonstrate it?
Yeah, that's how he did it. He said, "Here, turn this down. Don't turn it off. Turn it down."
Well, when he was, did you watch his demonstration?
Yeah.
Did you put his lathe in reverse before he started?
Don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I put a pin through the forward reverse switch on my Paramatic. I get sick and tired of turning it off and going the other way.
Well, that puts the wood back on instead of taking it off.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so we're going to start shaping our top. I'm going to use my bowl gouge. I could use the spindle gouge, but I just like this bowl gouge.
Stock removal.
It gets it done pretty quick.
Yep.
And I'm doing like I did with the spindle gouge. I'm bringing the handle around, and that gives me a curve. Also makes a mess on my shirt. My wife loves that.
And is that a piece of maple as well?
Did this demo one time, and I didn't quite have it on center. And a lady in the audience says, "Well, it's," said, "Well, your head, tail, your drive center and your tailstock aren't, aren't in the center of the piece of wood." And I said, "Well, they will be."
Bob, is that a piece of maple?
And I'm rubbing my bevel the whole time I'm cutting. Now you can make this any size you want to too, as long as it's bigger than the bottom. If it's smaller than the bottom, the bird will get wet when it rains, so you don't want that.
Okay, pop up in here. Okay. Bob, what kind of wood is that?
What kind of wood? Cherry.
Cherry.
I like to Use contrast in woods. So I'm just shaping my top now. All right, I'm going to take it out from between centers now. Take my step center out. And put this in my chuck. Now, if you don't have a chuck with the smaller jaws, these are the step jaws. What you can do is use your number 2 jaws, and these really shouldn't be open this wide, but I didn't bring my one chuck with me. And I'm going to stay away from up here. But you can use, take a piece of scrap wood and make you some jam chucks and use the number 2 jaws with it. And I always drill a hole in my jam chuck, so if it gets on there too tight, I can just take a tool and just knock it out. Okay, so now we're going to take our live center out and go back to our 1-inch drill bit.
Hey, Ronnie, watch this. This is the second half of the cheating.
And I'm going to drill a hole in here to accept that tenon.
And you size the tenon with the same drill bit.
Right. That way they'll more than likely match. And I don't need to go in real deep. Just deeper than the tenon. And then this will fit in like this. And if I decide I'm going to cut this back some, I probably should have done first, but that's all right. I just run my tailstock up in there. Take my spindle gouge and recess my roof a little bit. Okay, so now now that I've recessed my roof, I need to drill my hole a little deeper. No problem. And y'all wonder why I'm using 2 different chucks. You know, one like this and then one like this. It was so I hoped I would remember. You wonder why I'm using 2 chucks, one like this one and one like this one. And so I was hoping I would remember which drill to use.
Somebody hit the cymbal. Ting.
That wasn't a joke, that was serious.
I know, that's why we worry.
These are fun little projects to make too, because they don't take a long time.
Bob, you did the undercut because if you can't look at the line, you won't see the crack, correct?
What's he saying? I couldn't hear you.
when you undercut that cap,
right,
you put a concave on it, because if you can't see that joint, that crack, it won't show.
That's
So
right.
you move it. Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to take this down a little bit. And you can make this as long as you wanted to. Only thing you got to be careful about here is if you go in real deep, you don't want to go through that hole. The only reason I know about that is because Lan told me about it.
Oh, good.
And if you're uncomfortable, using a spindle gouge to do this, you could do this with a scraper. Use a round nose scraper. That would work. All right, so that's our top right there. Now we have to figure out a way to drill a hole in the top of it. And I don't have a drill bit long enough to reach through my headstock to get to it. So what am I going to do? I'll show you. And I have a special drill bit that I use that you can't get at a lot of hardware stores. But I'm going to tell you where you can get it. Okay, so we're going to cut this off. Use my DeWalt parting tool. All right, so we've cut this off. This piece of wood's got a crack in it, but that's all right. Now you say we're going to make a jam chuck here. No. No, sir. That's too much trouble. We could if we had number 2 jaws. We could get a 1-inch dowel and make a jam chuck out of it. But we can just screw this puppy in right here. This will go down to less than 1 inch. We got 1 inch hole. Shazam. There we go. So now we've got this chucked up. We'll take our live center, put in here, turn it on. Look at there, running right on, right true. There's our starter hole. The point on the live center. Now we're going to use our special drill bit that we can't get at a hardware store. And you can't get it Harbor Freight. So you think if you can't get it at Harbor Freight, it's probably not worth buying.
Can we get it at Sears?
It's called a paper clip. This is the exact size fit where I get the screw eyes at Hobby Lobby, and this is a perfect fit, a small paper clip. Turn this on. Push it in there, and our hole's drilled. Okay. So now we've got our base. We got our top.
That's a good hint. Everybody would have been going to the hardware looking for a tiny drill bit.
Well, paperclip works just as well.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's pretty efficient.
That's a good tip there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Paper
now
clip,
we'll make a
sewing
perch.
needle.
I don't know. I never tried one.
I would worry about the taper on the needle versus a paper clip that's got a blunt edge. But hey, you got to try it.
One of these things, you know, for paper clip, you know, if you lose it, you just go and get another one.
They sell them by the box load.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to make our perch. And what I normally do for perches, if I want to use a fancy wood, I'll take a pin blank and put it on my bandsaw. Where we at? There we go. You know, which camera you on? I'll take a pin blank and put it on my bandsaw, cut it once this way, cut it once this way, and I got enough wood for 4 perches. Actually, I got enough wood for probably at least a dozen perches. This is a piece of scrap that I had that I'm going to use to make the perch out of. It's a piece of walnut. And I could also make the finial out of what's left. I just chuck it up and like I say, I like to have a contrast between, have the same wood for the perch and the finial, but have a contrast between the wood for the base. Now I'm finally going to measure something. So this is 1/8 of an inch, so I just set my calipers to 1/8 of an inch. On your calipers, a good thing to do is sort of round those tips off. Because that way, if you stuck them down on the wood, there's nothing this is going to catch because it's going to be round. Let's see there we go. And this is a piece of walnut. I'm using my spindle gouge now, just rounding off the end. And like sort of put a little bulb on the end of it. And then just come down with my spindle gouge so I get down to about close to 1/8 of an inch. Now you got to be a light touch here because you haven't got much wood. Okay, so man, that's a miracle. We hit it the first time. So I'd stand that just a little bit. Then cut it off. And that would fit right in here. Little fella's got a little place to stand and look inside. If it's mama, she's got a place to look inside and see the kids. Okay. And then I could use the rest of this piece of wood to do a finial with. Y'all want me to do a finial or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I would have drilled a 1/4 inch hole in the bottom of this to mount the finial. And then let's see. Where's my chuck key? Right there, right where I put it.
Novice turners who are joining us, that head shield he is wearing is a UVEX, and there's an article on the front page of our website right now concerning that shield and more about it. So before you say, oh, wait, where can I get that? We give it to you.
You need a customized face shield. Nobody will walk out with this thing.
Yeah, you're right. Not with that customization.
Got this at McDonald's because this is when I'm happiest, is when I'm turning.
Is that Kim's color lips?
It's Doug's color, maybe.
You know, better be careful how you joke about the first sergeant. Y'all know he's got a gun.
I'm just going to turn a real simple one because, you know, you can spend a long time turning the finial.
Liam, is there any way you can capture his tool handle presentation there?
Huh? This will probably not be one that puts Cindy Droz out of business.
You're well on your way.
Whoops. Hey, a neat little trick here in just a second. At least I think it's neat. It's better than my seagull joke.
I was going to say, you thought the seagull joke was good. I'm worried. Novice turners, if you're interested, this portion of this video, this demonstration will be up on our website in about 10 days. Our webmaster will have it. He will edit it. That portion will have its own little chapter if you'd like to see it.
We'll go to measuring again. You just got to fit in a 1/4 inch hole. Take you a 1/4 inch wrench, file the bottom down. Don't do that on a CBN wheel. You put it on there, it'll do your final trimming. It'll be exactly a 1/4 inch. Okay, so that would be our finial. that if we put a flat, drill the hole would just fit on the bottom here. You know, where the camera is. So this is the whole thing put together. You just have to imagine that hole there because it's not there. Okay, so we've made the finial and we made our perch and we made our bottom. And now we're gonna make a different top.
What do you glue them together with?
What
do you glue it together with?
I just use regular wood glue. I don't like the smell of CA glue, so I just use regular wood glue. Use the the tight bond glue. And I mean, you just put it on there and just rub it a little bit and it'll stick together. One thing important about putting it together is you want to, like, this grain is going this way. This grain's going like this. I want it where this grain's going this way. So they're both sort of that grain and then that grain. And the same thing on the finial. That grain. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna do a cooler top. I got a piece of cherry here. I'm gonna put it between centers and I'm gonna turn it round. Me. I'm just gonna sort of eyeball this. Okay, so we'll take our spindle roughing gouge and just round this out, because it ain't too shapely right now. And it's just a piece of green wood that was split.
Like he got the gut out of that roughing gown.
Yeah, he's getting the most. He's making it a detail roughing gouge.
Bob didn't tell you he got that roughing
This
gouge.
piece is big enough.
Bob
I
got
have
that
to switch to
roughing
another
gouge when
piece.
he was 6 years old.
Let's see. Let's use this piece instead.
It's still working.
What they say? That'll be a base later on. This is how I make those sloped roofs. And this is a piece of ambrosia maple. It was split, it was green. One of the things when I'm doing between centers, I like to have my handle on my tailstock over on this side. So if it gets loose, it's going to tighten instead of if it's over here and it gets loose, it's going to come loose and it could fly off at me. And give it a spin here. If we're clearing. Yeah, this is going to be a good piece of wood. See how big a mess you can make with this? That's just about round, I think. Let's see. I'm a little flat over here. Okay, that's pretty well round. All right, oh, that's a pretty piece of wood. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put a mark here, straight across. And then over here, and I'm using my tool rest. So I can get pretty much the center. Right here, B. And I'm going to measure, find the center here. All right, this is 4 and almost a quarter, so that'd be 2 and just under 1/8. So that's going to be my center. And I'm going to mark, using my tool rest for a straight edge, I'm going to mark from this center where I drew a line at the across the end. This way. So what I'm ending up with all right, so I drew a line here through the center straight across. Huh? Okay, can you see it now? Yeah. Okay, I drew a line here straight across through the center, and the same thing on the other side. All right, then I drew a line from this point to this point, and the same thing on the other side. So this is 180 degrees from this line. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to rechuck it. All right, that's the prettiest side of this piece of wood, so I want that to be my bottom. So I'm going to rechuck it where those two lines right there intersect. Can you see those two lines? Okay, let's see. All right, they intersect right there. And that's half from here to here. All right, so I'm going to put it between centers, and I'm going to put my drive center right here and my live center right here. Now this is going to get exciting. You're going to see this and you're going to say, oh, Bob, I can't believe you did that.
That's going to be.
I believe you have fingers left.
Makes a marvelous sound.
Okay, and we're going to put a tenon on this side. And then we're going to put it in the chuck. So we're going to cut this at an angle like that. And then on the inside, the same angle.
Now, if you're off a little bit on any of your measurements, it doesn't matter because this is going to come out a little wonka, isn't it?
What do you say?
He says it's going to come out Wonka, isn't it?
Yeah. Like Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought Willie did this.
And that's part of the intrigue to it.
Okay, I'm going to use my bowl gouge to cut this with. And you see how it's spinning?
Practice that
If you think about it, if you've ever turned a natural edge bow, you're sort of doing the same type of thing. Because you're going to have your top curved like this. And you've got to go all the way to the tips here. It looks like I'm not quite straight there. But I can correct that. There we go. That's close enough. Like I said, the bird's getting a free place to live, so he can't be too choosy. Move my tool rest in a little bit. Give it a spin. I'm coming straight in at the top. And I'm actually riding my bevel.
Yep, see those shavings?
And I want to go all the way to the bottom of this. So I'm looking at my shadow line. Like when I start getting near the bottom, I want to come in backwards with, I'm resting my tool, the back of my tool against the wood, but it's not cutting. So I'm just doing this to find the edge. And they're going to come in and cut like this. I'm taking pretty light cuts at this point. And you'll keep your hand clear of the edge. Lynn told me about that.
You do it, you'll only do it once.
This edge would get pretty sharp. Okay, so we got our edges there. We need to cut a little bit more. All right, let's see where we're at now.
Not quite.
Almost there. See, we got a little bit of flat spot there we want to get rid of. All right, that should have got it. We'll come back in. Sort of blend those two cuts in. Put my foot back in there. I mean, my tenon back in there. All right, so now we got our tenon. Take our step center out. These are nice step centers that you can put them in your chuck. I'm gonna get me one if Land's not looking. That's Land's step center. But if he's not looking, I don't know who it'll belong to, but I got an idea.
You're gonna put a magnet on it, aren't you?
magnet on it.
I think he's putting an eyeball on it.
He may be putting an eyeball on you about now.
That wouldn't surprise me.
See, have one of those metal detectors at a shop door like I do. Yeah.
Metal detector shop door.
Is that what that thing is? I thought it was a welcome sign. Okay, we had a 1-inch tenon on our base. So we need a 1-inch mortise. And we're going to drill it. So it's just past right here at the top of that curve. Let's see if we're deep enough.
You could put some oil on that bit.
Almost.
If you need the oil, you bit.
I'll do it. It's Lance bit.
Yeah.
Okay, that should be about right. That might need to be a little deeper, but we'll get that later. So now we'll come in with a spindle gouge and we'll go sort of hollow this out. I guess you call it hollowing it out. Like I said, these are fun little projects to make, and they don't take a whole lot of time. Don't make a whole lot of mess. Okay, we've got to come in some more. The hole's not deep enough, but that's all right. We can fix that. Okay, that's good. We'll drill a hole a little deeper. Okay. We'll turn it around. Yeah, paper towel.
Hey, Dane, I think we found a way to help Bob out on his step center thing.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, there's 78 people here. You think Lynn can check all those pockets at one time if we rush out?
I don't know. Maybe if he had his magnet, right?
Doing that magnet thing going, we out of here.
Magnet man.
Okay, Mitty, I heard you were going to pay me enough to buy me one.
Well, we just doubled your wage because you're doubling how many roofs you're doing.
This is my fancy jam chuck, which is a 1/8 dowel with a tenon on it. See, now I can't put this directly on the chuck because of this wings coming down.
Now, folks are asking, why would he put a tenon on that jam chuck? It's because if you just put the dowel in there, it may have a walk up and down or side to side. With the tenon, he's got a shoulder for the jaws to come up against that eliminate that walk.
And the paper towel tightens it up enough. And I can put my live center in it. Now I'll get it straight. And I'll also start drilling my hole. Okay, there we go.
And Bob, because you were holding it between points, you had an automatic reference point for that point to go into, didn't you?
Right. Uh-huh. And that puts it on there straight. Whereas if I was just jamming it on there, I might get it and I might not. Whoops. Okay, there we go. After you've done 2 or 3 of these, this is not nearly as complicated as it might look like. I mean, there's steps involved, but and so we'll trim that off. Then we'll take our handy dandy Office Depot drill. Now don't grab it while it's spinning. We'll take it off the jam chuck. And that's our next birdhouse.
How about that?
That is so cool.
But
That's
wait,
really nice.
but wait, there's more.
Just like Paul Harvey.
There's more.
Our group is old
piece
enough
of
to
bark.
remember Paul Harvey. The young people won't.
That's right. Let me tell you the rest of the story. We take a piece of bark, drill a 1-inch hole in it, drill a little hole for our hook to go in, and you'll just be amazed. If we want it square like that, we could have it like that. We could put it on our chuck because we got a 1-inch hole. And I'm just drilling into I sanded the wood back. I cut it on the bandsaw and then sanded some of it back so not as much shows at the very edges, and left some in the middle. Now this is where you definitely want to wear a face shield. If we want it round,
That's because the bark might be worse than the bite, right?
Oh, man.
it is. Unless
There's
it's poison,
Jeff. We missed you, Jeff.
unless it's poison ivy on it. If you want it round now, you're gonna take light cuts here.
For the beginners out there and the folks that haven't done turnings like that, you're basically turning on a shadow line. That's what you're watching.
We had a better view from the end stock than you might have from the over
I'm
the top
taking
of
that
the
wood
piece.
off here, off the edge now. And don't grab this while it's turning either. Let's see, you could round it off like that. Have that as your roof. Ta-da!
Are you there?
Wow,
That's nice, Bob.
that is.
And people really like those.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
And I mean that. How much easier could that be? Drill a hole, put it together.
So hold everything up you just did, Bob.
Hold up everything you just did.
And Bob, can you hear me, Bob?
Yeah.
All right, you only get one shot at this. Tell Lynn there's a phone call for him in the kitchen.
How's what?
You only get one shot at it.
Point to the corner of the shop and say, look, there's a rabbit.
I think it would fit inside of a birdhouse and make its way out.
That's right.
That's awesome, Bob. Really great demo.
And there's your
Great
finial
demo,
to
Bob.
put on any of them if you wanted to.
Awesome, Bob. Great.
Really
Hey, and I
nice.
did the math for you on that.
I'm done.
Hey, Bob, I
That's
did the
awesome.
math for you on that pin blank. You should
Oh,
be able to
thank you.
get 30 of them.
But they're
Nice
a lot of
job
fun
and
to
funny
do.
too.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Brenda said you're funny too.
I'll try. You like my seagull joke?
Yeah.
All
Do
right,
you know
y'all.
why? Do you know why golfers always take 2 pairs of pants with them?
In case they
No.
get a hole in
In
one.
case they get a hole in one.
Y'all only fueling them on. This is worse than giving Doug Rowe gas. This is
Thanks for the demo, Bob.
Thank you.
fantastic, Bob. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, sir.
Well,
Good
thank you for
job.
letting me.
Very good
I
demo.
enjoyed it. That was
I rung the
fun.
bell for you. You're done.
Thank
You're
you.
done.
Okay.
I have a quick question. When you
Go ahead, please.
when you put that stub center in your chuck, is that a special kind of a stub center, or is that just your regular Morris taper one?
I use a Morse taper. You can do a Morse taper one the same way.
It doesn't
take
hurt the taper.
My Morse taper's got a shoulder on it to where the jaws will grab the shoulder.
Right. Most of them
It's
have a shoulder.
tapered straight. Yeah, the shoulder will help you square it up.
Here's
But
a
remember,
Morse
if you
taper one
damage
here.
the stub center, don't drive it back into your headstock. Don't.
Exactly.
Now here's a Morse taper one that you could put in there.
Oh,
Keep holding it up, Bob, while I pull you back up.
And just
Yep,
Slide
see
it
it.
in here like this.
I got you.
Hold it back up, Bob. And shoulder to shoulder.
There
Slide
we
it in
go.
until it hits on this shoulder. Then tighten it down.
That'll keep it oriented to being true.
That's pretty true.
Step centers are terribly underrated to some folks. They are an awesome piece of equipment if you take care of them. But like,
Also,
Bob, I got a question.
Also,
Go
with
ahead.
the step center, if you get a catch, it's not going to fly off at you.
True. It'll spin.
Yeah.
Bob, I got a question for you.
go ahead, sir.
I'm curious, you used your Berdan the way
Yeah.
I was taught it. You used it upside down. I use mine with the taper up instead of down.
That's because
Does
you're
it make
from
a difference?
Australia.
What's that?
That's because you're from Australia.
No, I'm from Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the same thing.
Is there a right or a wrong way to use the Berdan? Can you use it
I don't
either
think
way,
so.
or is it
That's just the way I learned how to use it.
okay?
That's how
If you're
I use
using it-
the way Bob does as well.
If you use it the way you're talking about, Scott, is you're actually going to attack it more of a scraper than a slicer. And Bob has got a chance to do a rod that bevel the control is cut. So he's doing it more as a slicer.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to try mine the other way just to see how it works.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
you'll
That's
like
why
it,
we're here.
Scott.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask the stupid question.
No stupid
Go ahead.
question.
What is the Berdan you're talking about?
I'll show you.
Okay.
This is a Berdan.
All right, let me get back to you, Bob. Okay, show.
It's
Can you
sort of
hold
like
it
half
closer?
a parting tool and wider.
There's no taper going across it, Brenda. It's a square. It's a piece of
Okay,
rectangular
I
stock.
thought it was just a parting
It's got a
tool.
taper right here.
Okay.
You can use it as a parting tool like what Bob was
Yeah, you
using
can
it.
use
You
it
can
as a
use it to
parting
make
tool.
beads. You know, you can use it to level your wood. It's all kinds of uses.
Use it
It's good for
Cave use it like a
making
skew.
but dovetail tendon, because you can run it in and then give it a little twist.
Yep.
You get your dovetail.
Yeah, it's a French skew.
Yep.
Sure. That works.
You'll have no idea what y'all doing at our international relationships. Again, Bob, the great demo, sir. Appreciate you coming forward as a member to show us this and share with us. You've been sharing your birdhouses for over a year with us, and we appreciate you showing how it's done. And hopefully we'll see some birdhouses pop up.
If anybody has any questions about it, they can email me at woodturnerbob@gmail if they want to. And just put
Outstanding.
birdhouse in the subject line
And it's woodturnerbob at
at
Gmail.
Gmail.
All right.
And just put birdhouse in the subject line.
Thank you, Bob, again. All right. We're going to go back to what we do best here. We talk wood turning, and Bob was great to have us in here this evening. And again, it's a member. We don't pay for these demonstrations. These are members helping us share what we do here. And that's it's pretty important to me. It's what you get when your friends get together. I keep saying it. It's a bunch of us on the tailgate out in the parking lot talking wood turning, and we're glad you joined us. It's coming up on 9 o'clock here on worldwidewoodturners.org. We meet every Wednesday evening here. We gather. We're supposed to gather around 7 o'clock. We've been gathering around 6 o'clock Central, and we go until 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I really have to pull the plug because some members feel they're obligated to stay on and hang in and all, and we don't want it to be an obligation. It's supposed to be a pleasure. We appreciate Bob's demo this week. I have to remind you that we're still doing the Wake Stand project. Wake Stand warriors are folks that turn a wake stand and then donate them to a good cause, which is the oncology group at your local hospital. and we're still collecting Freedom Pens for the Freedom Pen program, and they go directly to First Sergeant Doug Rowe. His address is on our website on how you can get there. And more information goes onto our website and onto our chat program each week. This is the time for you to save the chat. That's exactly what we're talking about. Go into the chat program and save the chat. It will it'll be so helpful for you. It's all that information we've talked about tonight, all the tips and hints and all that were shared. They're going to be on your computer. Now, when this is all said and done, our webmaster, David Rhodes, is going to place all that information on our website, probably the fondest wood turning website in the entire world. And if it isn't, we're working to take that accolade pretty soon. It's about 2 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Any other of our co-hosts have anything to add tonight? Let's jump on.
No.
I really appreciated that demo. It was a very, very nice demo and picked up a few things because he does a little different than I do. So I really liked it. Thanks.
You see, you're a seasoned turner and you came away with a couple of tips and hints.
But I will add one thing. There is no such bird as a seagull. It does not exist. The seagull does not exist. There's a black gull, there's a laughing gull, there's the greater gull, but there's not a seagull.
So all these years we've been identifying them improperly?
That's correct. There is no bird called a seagull.
But there is a bagel.
No, there is not a seagull. There are gulls of a lot of different types, but seagull is not one of them.
So the stuff that's on my windshield.
Kind of like calling a raven a crow.
Look it up. A seagull does not exist as a bird. It's not a species of bird.
That's a fact.
The thing you learn from wood turners, you know.
No kidding. Think about how Jonathan Livingston feels about this. Okay, folks, we're pulling the plug.
Bluegulls go over the ocean?
And I'm just waiting for the video of this demo to go back up so I can watch it 2 or 3 more times and figure it out.
Hey,
you will.
I live at the shore, you know, and there's lots of birds flying around. Birdie, birdie in the sky. Why'd you do that in my eye?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that was a seagull stuff on my windshield. What was it?
You can glad
all right.
don't fly.
It's time to bail. All right, folks. We appreciate you being here tonight, sharing your information about what's happening in wood turning. And if we could ever help you, you know how to get a hold. Pardon me, you know how to get a hold of us. We really want to hear from you, be part of your life, let us help you out. With that, I'm Captain Eddie Castle. I'm your moderator here. I'm not the president. I'm not the director. I'm just the guy that sits here with you each Wednesday evening as we enjoy wood turning. Again, thank you. Good night. Be safe. And
good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Details.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody.
Great week.
Been a pleasure tonight, guys.
Good night.
May the
Pretty
devil
safe.
be with you.
Always a
Thanks,
treat.
Bob.
Always enjoy.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Turn some good stuff, folks.
Yeah.